What's up, everybody? It's Mark from Lawn Creeps Limited out here in Villa Park, Illinois, the Garden Village, the best town in the world, man. Old town with amazing history. One of these days, I'm gonna go ahead and do a love letter to this town. It's a lot of history and a lot of texture. A lot of texture, just like my beautiful tall lawn here. I got a lot of beautiful texture in here as well. But anyways, welcome back to another video here. It's a beautiful morning. My God, we are coming into probably the best week we've had in a very, very long time, maybe all year. We're talking a high of 78, 77 during the day. You see the sky up there. When the sky looks like that, it's just amazing out here. It's hard to explain if you don't live out in these parts. You know, we're a continental climate, meaning we get the hottest of the hot, the coldest of the cold. When it's humid, it's disgusting. It punches you in the chest with just how humid and disgusting it is. Our winters are brutal, the summers are brutal, pounding down on your chest. Yeah, sits on your face. It's so thick you can cut it with a knife, and the sky is all white. And it ain't any kind of fun. But here is like the great blue yonder, and that is the most amazing weather we could possibly have for lawns and gardens and for our soul, man. It's awesome. So anyways, what I want to get at here is where we're at with this lawn. It is a 100% organic lawn this year. Over the last several years, I have gone 80-90% organic. I've gone very light-handed on synthetic inorganic fertilizers, and I have not used any fungicides, pesticides in at least 5+ years. And herbicide, I did a little bit. I did one kind of fairly heavy-handed for me, a hose end sprayer shot. I haven't done anything out of a hose end sprayer since the early 2000s. And then this year I went completely 100% organic, no synthetic, nothing, no synthetic fertilizers, none of the sides, obviously. So it's been amazing. And how I do that is that I've trust in my soil food web. When you trust in the soil food web, you know that putting down fungicide, herbicides, pesticides, all of the sides, you are taking away the members of that soil food web. You are eliminating key players of that microbiology. Yeah, maybe you're getting rid of some of the pests, some of the pathogens that cause some of these fungal diseases, but you're also taking away the good guys too. And when you take away those good guys, you know, who comes back faster? The bad guys, right? So it's just a vicious circle there. You let nature take its course. You let the proper things happen by not using those inorganics, by not putting toxic chemicals down on your lawn. You are maintaining and creating that diversity of that microbiology that's going to take care of this thing. They are the workers. Let them do the work for you. We don't have to be so heavy-handed with our tending. We got a team with that soil food web. Microbiology is everything. Microbiology does 3 key things and more as far as that whole soil food web working as our approach to gardening and lawns. 3 key things. We're talking about soil structure itself and the ability for water to infiltrate into that soil, and the ability for oxygen to get into that soil, and the ability for those roots to go way down as deep as they can in a nice soil structure that is created by microbiology. The other thing is nutrient cycling. Nutrient cycling right inside that rhizosphere, or the root zone, if you will, all done through photosynthesis in the plant itself, and all of that bacteria, fungi, nematodes, protozoa, macro arthropods, earthworms, and so on and so forth. They work in unison. There is a synergy there in pulling that stuff out of the soil to give to the plant when it needs it at the exact time and the exact amount. Everything works together. It's nature, and that, you know, is the nutrient cycling piece, and we are going to get into the detail about that. So soil structure, nutrient cycling, and then of course there's the pest and disease suppression or resistance. If you've got the right amount, the right balance, diversity of microbiology in your soil, then you have got a team of a security team, castle walls protecting the roots, the tissue, everything of that plant. They don't let the bad guys in. Once you have the right amount of good guys, the bad guys can't even make their way anywhere near the roots or the plants or the tissue. Anytime something happens fungally or even weeds weeds and other pests and stuff like that, that is all due to the fact that you might not have quite the right balances between fungi, bacteria, so on and so forth. Mostly those two, but then you do get into the other members of the web, protozoa, nematodes, and just how this all works together. And again, we're going to get there. Right? It's been a long, slow process. The last few videos, I've scratched the surface on the soil food web, and they kind of have been redundant in the fact that I'm just kind of, again, scratching the surface. But I want to get into detail here, and we're starting. To reiterate, because I do kind of start rambling and go off on tangents. Soil structure itself, nutrient cycling, and pest and disease suppression, resistance, whatever you might want to call it. Those are three key things that we strive for in lawns and gardens, right? And that is all done through microbiology. No tinkering, no additives, you know. I mean, we can do all of that stuff, and we can kind of foster that diversity. We can foster and team with the soil biology, right? And that's what I've done this year. And as evidenced through the video that you just saw and the videos this year thus far, I've come out of heat, I've come out of, you know, mini droughts, I've come out of shots of some pretty nasty leaf spotting and all of that. I've had rust, you know, my shoes were orange for good stretches of the summer, and I've come out of it and survived it. And 97% of the time, it's looked like a champ. But it's a beautiful, healthy grass right now. I'm going into my fall here out in Chicago, Villa Park, if you will, very strong. So, and that is because I team with the soil food web. Mother Nature takes care of us, man. When we team with that soil food web, all of those little workhorses down there do the work for us. All of a sudden, we realize that we don't have to be the golf course superintendents that we like to be, unless that's your thing. So really the best thing you can do is think microbiology first. Let's get this soil healthy and full of life and full of the right diversity so it can maintain and be self-sufficient. You know, who wins this thing? The guy that spends a god-awful amount of time and money in his yard to make it look nice, or the guy that could have a beautiful stand of grass in a nice yard with less time and effort put in so he can do other things or work on the garden piece of it or whatever? So we need to reapproach this thing. We need to get the biology back in our soil. Stop thinking in terms of what kind of fertilizer we're going to put in, what kind of this, what kind of that. We need to basically just keep getting that organic material in there to feed the microbes and to grow the microbes off what we're putting in there. You got to turn your dirt into soil, because honestly, I think a lot of young new homeowners and dudes that are super into lawns, or chicks that are super into lawns, are you know, not blessed with a good soil. I see a lot of lawn care enthusiasts. They live in these newer kind of neighborhoods, new subdivisions, new builds. So obviously what they do on those in those areas is that land gets excavated. They take all that beautiful topsoil, they go and sell it and do something with it, and then they grade out all of that subsoil in that shitty soil, kind of, pardon my French. But it's some nasty soil, so you got to rebuild it. You got to get that biology back in there is the best possible thing you can do. No fertilizers, no salt-based fertilizers. Every single inorganic synthetic fertilizer is a salt-based fertilizer that is detrimental to that soil food web. So a lot of chicks and dudes in this game, in this lawn care game, they're doing the cha-cha-cha. They're going back and forth, back and forth. You're adding all of this nice organic material because that's, you know, in the last several years, that's come up in the lawn care world, where getting those organics into that soil is is happening, and that's great, and you're feeding that microbiology, but you're taking steps back by using all the sides and using these salt-based fertilizers. So you're kind of doing the cha-cha-cha back and forth. What happens when we take all of those toxic chemicals out of the equation and we let all of this life in this soil do its thing? That is when we can have a self-sufficient, strong, healthy grass, a true healthy grass. So that's what we're looking to do here, kids. Hey, listen, I'm not telling you how to lawn care. I start rolling off on this thing and I come off soapboxy or opinionated, and please don't take it that way. It's just these are my thoughts, my feelings, my methodology that are coming out. It's just something for you to maybe listen to, pick your interest. You could say this guy's an asshole, or you could say, wow, that's actually pretty neat, man. And I'm telling you what, we're gonna go into detail about the soil food web. I say it every single time I make one of these dumb videos that we are gonna get into the specifics. What exactly is it the bacteria does? What exactly is it that the fungal hyphae do? What exactly is it that the next members of the food web do? The protozoa and nematodes, and I'm not talking about the root feeding disease nematodes. I'm talking about the fungal feeding beneficial nematodes that basically eat the fungi and then release those nutrients, because the fungi and the bacteria, they hold all those nutrients, that biomass of fungi and bacteria around those roots are just full of these nutrients from that they're pulling from the parent material, the sand, silt, and clay and pebbles. They pull all those nutrients out of that material and they have them, and then again those next members of the food web come, they meal on them, it gets released into the soil right around the root zone, gives the plant exactly what it needs when it needs it. It's a beautiful thing. It's nature. It's how this stuff all works together. It's awesome. But that is, again, scratching the surface that I like to do. One of these days I'm going to sit down, put on my bow tie. I'm going to get a little bit of a tobacco pipe. I'll put on some glasses and we'll sit here and we'll wax poetic on microbiology. But yeah, we'll get there. In fact, I think I'm going to try to turn this video into a double feature. I'm going to do another one where we do get right into it. But it's amazing stuff. It's amazing stuff. Let's think about how we're doing this thing, and we'll take it from there. So I'm going to cap this thing, and we'll go ahead and check you later.
Lawn creeps.